the New York Times, I'm Anna Martin. This is Modern Love. And today we have a little treat for you. I'm here with my colleague, Astead Herndon. Hey, Astead.
Hey, Anna. Thank you for having me.
So, Astead, you're a political reporter here at the Times, and you're the host of The Run-Up, which is our weekly politics show. And you're here because you recently went to a speed dating event. Not for yourself, for reporting purposes. I want to be very clear about that. And Astead, you went to this event to find out how are single people bringing politics into their search for love? And do their political beliefs influence who they decide to date? I cannot wait to talk to you today, but I gotta ask first, as a political reporter, did you ever think you'd be on Modern Love?
No. I am a listener, a fan, but...
You don't consider yourself a modern lover?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm more of
Old school.
Old school. I was going to say, what's the opposite of modern and love? Old school and...
Old school hater.
Yeah, old school hater. Exactly. That's more my vibe.
Well, we welcome that vibe on the show. So your beat is politics. Mine is love. But you just made an episode recently that combined the two. So can you tell me about what you wanted to investigate and how your team went about it?
Yeah, so much of our show is focused on themes of division and political polarization. Mm-hmm. One of the things we wanted to do was see how politics is playing out in people's day-to-day lives and their individual choices that they're making. And we thought that there's nothing more intimate and personal than your choices of dating and love and romance. And so we decided that we would actually go to a speed dating event out in Pennsylvania, in a suburb right outside of Philadelphia, and talk to people who were there to find love about how they view these issues of politics and dating and how it plays out in their own individual romantic choices.
Why outside Philly? What was the choice there?
The TLDR is it's just the closest swing state. Mm-hmm. And we can also say that this is a place where, they're going to be bombarded with political ads.
Yeah. So give me a sense of how all this worked. What was it like walking in there?
We got there early. We made sure we introduced ourselves to people before the event kind of officially started. Mm-hmm. So by the time they were actually ringing the bell and sitting down, mostly everybody knew that there were these two reporters here and kind of what we were trying to do.
There was a physical bell that they rang?
So I think you had 6 or 7 minutes for each person. The women stayed seated and the men rotated. And they would ring the bell, a physical bell, when it was time to move.
Like a musical chairs of men.
Yes.
I like it. Okay. So now we're actually going to hear this reporting you and your producer, Elisa, did, the people you talked to, and your observations about what it all meant. Let's hear it.
Yep, let's hear it. Should we go in?
Yeah, let's go in. Yeah, we have half an hour.
When we walked in, we were greeted by a big bunch of pink and red heart balloons. And a bucket of roses for $5 a piece was sitting on the counter.
We're here for work, so stay on mission instead. Don't get distracted.
We set up shop at the hotel bar, talking to people throughout the night. And here's what we wanted to know. If you had just a few minutes to win someone's affection, how political would you get? And is there anything at all to be learned about national politics or the mood of the country from dating?
I'm Ashley.
I'm Radia.
And I'm out here because of her. We're cousins.
You're cousins?
Yeah.
No, we're just trying a different way to meet people. We've been trying the dating websites and it hasn't been working, so we thought, let's give this a try to see maybe we'll have better luck.
The struggle is real.
Do you care about politics or issues or things like that? Do they come up? Does it matter?
You know what? I will say if it's super extreme, you know what I mean? And you can't respect as an adult someone else's opinion. You know what I mean? But if you're hardcore one way, I can't,
You're saying, does it matter that someone agrees with you or just really matters if they disagree with you?
I think, and this might, whatever. I think it's hardcore disagree for me.
That's what you don't want to see.
Right.
That's the deal breaker.
Exactly. Yeah.
More than agreeing with everything.
We can disagree, but if you're riding hard, like this is, one of your family members, I can't.
Is that about an individual candidate? Are we talking Donald Trump? It's about individual issues. Is it like abortion or guns? Is there certain things that matter at the top of that list?
Things that I've run into on the apps, I don't know about this, but usually someone will ride for a candidate. Right now it's Donald Trump, and anything he says is gold, right? And it's like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, nothing anyone says is gold.
Would it matter on the opposite side? If someone thought everything Joe Biden said was gold, would that be a problem?
I mean, I lean more towards his social values more than the other side, but I can take from both. You know what I mean? But like to ride hard, right or left,
That would be a red flag for you, or would it be a deal breaker?
It's a beige flag.
Beige flag. Okay.
So my name is Samoya. What brought me here is just I need to find love. I want someone compatible.
Does politics matter in you?
I do not want it to come up. They always say, your first date, don't introduce like your ex. Don't talk about your ex. Don't talk about anything of that harsh. We don't want that right now.
All good vibes.
Very chill, just to see how the person, flows with you. I think that's what I want to do.
When does it come up then?
It's going to probably flow out maybe on the second date, on the second and a half, I was actually dating somebody initially. He told me that he supported Trump. And I said, and I just completely, just told him, it won't work. But then I felt like, maybe I need to, because I am new in this country, maybe I need to educate myself a little bit more. So I feel like I should have stayed around a little bit just to hear his perspective and to do my history, do my research, yeah.
You're saying, or do you regret cutting it off?
I feel like I'm sorry I did, because there's always room for learning, and you should never really cut somebody off.
All right, I'm John. I'm 41, single for the last 5 years, owning a business, and this was a great opportunity to get out.
One question we have is specifically about division and politics. Are there things you try to not talk about?
Yeah, politics. Yeah. There's no real point in talking about politics. We're all just people. Our thoughts aren't going to change anything, unfortunately. So, unless the government was actually going to listen to the people, there's no sense in talking about it. If somebody wants you to pick a side, right, that's too much, too demanding. Right? Pick a side. No, I just want to be myself.
If someone was a strong Democrat or a strong Republican, both of those would be things that you
don't stay away from. Yep. I think most of people are somewhere in the middle of a little bit of both, and everybody's allowed to have their own opinions. That's what makes us such a great country. Somebody that's going to stop you or try to change your opinion, it's just an opinion. It's not I'm not doing what the other side's telling me to do, right? Just let me be me.
Time to go in. Thank you so much.
It was funny. Our team spends so much time in political settings, at rallies and campaign events, places where people define themselves through common political beliefs. But here, it was entirely different. Politics wasn't just in poor taste or a subject to be avoided. It was a complete turnoff.
Okay, so my name's Karen. I came here with a couple of girlfriends. They were like, oh, let's do this. It's something different. It beats being online.
Are there values or things that you would put at the top of your kind of priority list when you think about a partner or a match?
I definitely have ones that just from past experiences and from my past relationships, I know generosity is something that I value. I don't want someone who's trying to mooch off of me, but I also don't want someone who's trying to take from the world. I want someone who's giving back and who will help others give back. And to be honest, I really don't like to pay for things, so I do want them to be generous with me too.
Are there beliefs? Are there things like that? Do you ask about that?
So, I'm very anti-political. I'm not political at all. I'm a big believer in everyone's entitled to their own beliefs. I'm a big believer that they shouldn't be pressing that on someone else. I don't care like if you're the two different sides. I just don't want you to try to push that on me, and I don't want you to try to diminish me for what I believe in or don't believe in. I don't watch the news. The only thing I watch is Bravo. Obviously, that's the only news that people should be informed on. It's just kind of, that's the stance that I've taken, just seeing what the political world has done to the society that's meant to be, like, united.
What's your strategy when you go into these type of things? What are you looking for?
Well, depending on how I feel, I guess first impressions, you want to have a good first impression, but at the same time, you don't want to, like, put yourself out there as, like, a generic canvas of, like, oh, I'm indifferent to things. So, like, maybe not being overtly direct about, like, your political ideologies, at least at the very beginning. Let's say you don't want to come off as someone that's only, like, in a way that's like, oh, you're solely like a political activist for one side or the other, you know? I don't know if that's the best way to phrase it.
I mean, I just kind of go with the flow, so if it comes up, it comes up, but I wouldn't bring it up apropos of nothing, because that just makes it seem like you're an extremist, like this is all you want to talk about.
Does it come up, and historically, as you have been out there, or is it easy to avoid?
I think it's probably easy to avoid. I don't think most people are as extreme as we get an idea of on like social media and stuff, because, you know, you just get the loudest voices with social media. I think a lot of people are a little hesitant to bring stuff up if they think it's going to be a little risque.
I guess it seems easy to avoid. It seems like you're just you're having to have at least for that initial first one, make sure you're sticking on a more general basis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not here to make statements about my political views or anything like that. I'm just here to meet someone.
Yeah. What brought you all here today?
My friend here. My friend here invited me.
It's an experience. It's a friend experience.
Yeah. Ask about like more serious or heavier topics. Do you expect to be asked about it?
Absolutely not. I don't expect to be asked about it because my questions don't ask me if I'm a liberal. You know, I feel like it's very natural conversations. It's very awkward to a lot of people who are getting out of their shell. This is like their first time. I don't think to ask about their political values or anything like that.
Because there are things that they look for that would be deal breakers for them politically. Do you have those type of things?
I mean, yes and no within reason. Like, how crazy are you? Like, how radical are you, I should say? Because if you're radical, then I'm like, oh, well, no. I don't think about politics every day, you know? So it really just depends. It doesn't rule my life. I do other things, so.
The bad sign would be if it takes up a lot of your life. That would be scary.
Yeah, that I think there's a healthy ground here when you talk about things because I don't think if you live and breathe politics, then it must be your job. And if it's not your job, then you're crazy passionate about something that doesn't go within your day-to-day. And if I'm a part of your day-to-day, that's weird that you fit that in there. It doesn't really correlate with my life. But if that's their values, that's fine. They're not for me if they're really, really intense about it. But I don't.
Like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way where it's like, obviously if there's something that we completely disagree on, that's a big flag. But
what about specific issues when we think about gun rights or abortion or anything like that? Is there issues that matter just as much, or is it like
definitely specific issues like women's rights, obviously.
I was gonna say, can you tell me like a deal
also just
breaker?
like dating as a minority. If someone's like comes off a little racist, I'm gonna say no. You know, I think equality matters just in all instances. So yeah, as long as someone's aligned on that affiliation, isn't like
as long as you're aligned on those big things, then you can figure out the smaller things.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate y'all's time. Almost every single person we talk to said a version of the same thing. When it comes to politics and dating, they weren't concerned about finding a partner with an identical viewpoint, but avoiding people that came off as too rigid in their thinking, be it right or left. In fact, the only automatic deal breaker, at least to this crowd, with someone being too into politics.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? We're going to take a 5-minute break. We'll reconvene after 5 minutes. Okay, 5-minute break.
Hey, it's Anna again, and we're going to take a little break too. Then I'll be back with Astead to debrief his experience at the mixer. Okay, so Astead, coming out of that mixer, I have to ask you, would you ever try to meet someone that way, or is it like just the apps from now on?
I mean, I feel like speed dating generally really won me over. Like, I think I found it really wholesome and kind of like endearing to try to meet someone in real life, to put yourself out there. I definitely am someone who believes that like dating via apps has become gamified and a little like gambly. And I definitely think that the apps are a self-selecting group of people who are most willing to judge for political opinion. And so there was a way that the speed dating really made me feel like, oh, this is a type of person that is more focused on building a relationship, right? Everyone there was serious about it.
I love that. I mean, unlike the apps with their filters and whatever, this mixer was a room full of strangers trying to make a genuine connection with other strangers. It's really sweet. Okay, so at that mixer, you met people looking for love who didn't want to bring up politics too soon and also didn't want to date someone who was too obsessed with politics. But some people did acknowledge that differences in politics or values would come up if they made it past the first date, right?
Absolutely. We talked to one guy specifically who was telling us that his Christian faith is really important to him personally. And so he was really weighing when and how to reveal that because he worries about the type of assumptions that people make in regards to someone being religious.
Yeah, let's hear from that guy.
I think what ends up happening, a lot of people start making it very political, and then I just do not want to go down that. What do you mean? Like typically if you're a Christian, then it's like, oh, you're a Republican or you're conservative in very specific areas like the abortion or the gun rights and everything like that. And then that's where it's just like, I don't know, these preconceived notions. I don't want that to be how we're communicating to each other. And just, I want it to be a little bit more relaxed and want them to feel comfortable like that way.
I mean, like, specifically, what are the sort of, like, preconceptions people have that you think you would say you don't agree with?
I'm pro-life, no matter what.
That's the conception people have? Or?
Yeah, because I'm a Christian. Yeah.
Can I ask, are you?
I'm more pro-choice, to be honest.
Why do you say that? On dates? Does that come up?
I don't mention that ever on a date. Yeah, that's something.
You gotta go. Thank you so much for talking to us.
So this guy's faith is so important to him, but he's conflicted about when to bring it up on a date because of the political baggage attached to it. You know, you touched on this a bit, but it strikes me that people like him are just very different from who we normally hear from on your show, The Run Up. When you're talking to people at rallies and campaign events, those people are showing up with their political identities front and center, right?
More often, yeah. I mean, a lot of the type of events that we go to that are on the campaign trail are full of people whose political identity is their own and who really gravitate to people who share and reflect that. But that's not who decides elections, right? The majority of people who vote, who live in this country, sound a lot like those daters. They don't have politics in the forefront of their minds. They're not thinking about this stuff day to day. And for some people, they don't think politics is like a core determining factor of who someone is. And so I think it's important for us to make sure we're finding people who are doing that same level of wrestling like the guy that we're hearing, because that's the type of way that most people interact with this in their lives. You know, people want to be seen outside of just one defining factor.
I mean, when I hear that guy, I think it's super relatable to be like, I want someone to get to know all of me, not just one piece.
Yeah, and I mean, I said this to him, you know, my father's a pastor.
Wow.
And I've been on a date when I've been like, oh, you know, this is what my parents do. Or it's a big part of like stories of like how you grew up. But when you reveal those things, I can feel the assumptions happening. Almost always it's like, well, what do you believe? Are you religious now? I totally understood where he was coming from because I have had that experience before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I think about the scene at speed dating, I kind of think about some of the reporting that our colleague has done, Jessica Gross, who writes about dating and relationships on the opinion section. And she has this phrase that like thirst conquers all. And I think that
thirst conquers all.
Yeah, thirst conquers all. And I feel like that was really on my mind. For a lot of people, the desire for companionship and connection is such where they could put some of those rules to the side if someone has other qualities that they think might matter more. So like respect and connection and support and all of those things can come ahead of whether we agree on this big thing, right? Or whether we vote for the same person. I think dating is one of those areas that exposes that, like, for a lot of people, those rules are a lot more squishy.
Totally. I was going to say, like, we might assume that politics is all like red versus blue, but people are so much more complicated than that when it comes to their personal lives, to their dating lives, to the people they want to fall in love with.
Our political system does not recognize nuance and difference. It forces people into binary choices and into corners that are not reflective of their own beliefs, right? One thing I like about thinking about love and dating and the work that you all do is that there is more nuance in individual people than there is in who you vote for.
Mm-hmm, totally. You know, I said this at the beginning of our conversation that your beat is politics and my beat is love. But hearing your reporting on the complexities of the dating world, I'm starting to think that maybe our beats are not as far apart as I assumed.
No, I don't think they are.
Astead, thank you. I had so much fun today. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I did too. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, buckle up. Double credits. Here's Astead.
The Run-Up is reported by me, Astead Herndon, and produced by Elisa Gutierrez, Caitlin O'Keefe, and Anna Foley. It's edited by Rachel Dry, Lisa Tobin, and Franny Kartoff.
And Modern Love is produced by Julia Botero, Christina Josa, Emily Lang, and Reva Goldberg. It's edited by Jen Poyant and Paula Schumann. Our executive producer is Jen Poyant. This episode was mixed by Daniel Ramirez. Our show is recorded by Maddie Masiello. The Modern Love theme music is by Dan Powell. Digital production by Mahima Chablani and Nell Galogli. The Modern Love column is edited by Daniel Jones. Mia Lee is the editor of Modern Love Projects. I'm Anna Martin. Thanks for listening.